In this segment, Stephanie Miller and Bob Sessa talk all things Trump, his lack of any contrition, his pledging to pardon insurrectionists, support of Putin and a federal ban on abortions, and a litany of lies too numerous to count. Between this, his legal baggage, and more, he still amazingly is the GOP frontrunner. For more, here's Stephanie.
Here's why I think Donald Trump's going to get caught, because we were just saying David K. Johnson has said he's done this before. The flooding evidence, I don't know, in New York City. And I'm like, he's back to the same, flood the basement, wherever the recording equipment is.
Yes, I mean, it's so incredibly obvious. How do we destroy evidence without destroying evidence? Well, whoops.
Oops.
Pool boy screwed up.
Pool had an accident.
Yeah. Isn't he the one who also kept talking about Hillary Clinton acid washing the server and doing everything she could to the servers?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. He legitimately believes that Hillary Clinton, used giant industrial gloves and took out her hard drive.
Yes.
And dunked it in an acid wash thing, like jeans in the 80s.
Yes.
That's how he believes that hard drive. And by the way, hard drives that are submerged in water are actually still retrievable. You can kind of get the data off of those hard drives, even if they've been in water. So even his dumb cover-up.
Hillary must have been more distressed than her jeans when she found that out. Really? It didn't work? Bob, yes, as we speak, a former spokesman for Trump will testify today before the grand jury in Florida. So that's what we were talking about, is that, it appears that the Florida grand jury could be for other people that also crimed with Trump, that he will likely be indicted in D.C. for this, but that's why there's the other. I mean, Cliff Schechter said there are ketchup bottles in packets across Mar-a-Lago sheltering in place right now. And you said Mar-a-Lago ketchup alert is impending.
Yeah. We remember the terror alerts after 9/11, and I've got sort of a sliding scale for the ketchup alerts at Mar-a-Lago.
Yes.
Because you got to watch your head in those times. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know if Andrew Weissman's right, but he says this week, we know when it will be. It will be right when you finish recording your show.
Right.
I'm going to guess tomorrow. Our friend
One
Jeff
of these days.
Our friend Jeff Tiedrich tweeted, it's a well-known maxim, the moral arc of the universe bends to thwart the Bob Cesca show.
Yeah.
You said that's the
when
new
this news
slogan.
came down, Stephanie, on Monday, that there was an impending indictment here, and it looks real possible that it's going to happen this week, as Andrew Weissman was saying. Everyone was texting me and sending me tweets about how I can fool the universe.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Bob, if you just start your show an hour and a half after you normally do,
doesn't work that way.
Then the universe won't screw
No.
you this
Whenever
way.
it is, that will be when the news breaks.
It does
when
not
you're done.
work that way.
The clock doesn't start until you've stopped recording.
Right.
Well,
Exactly right.
But you know what the crossing the streams is when I'm on vacation and you finished your show. So I'm on vacation the last week in June. I'm just going to say that's when the next one is coming.
Are you really? Because I'm on vacation the first 2 weeks of July. So there's our nexus. I think that
Travis is on
vortex.
vacation first week in July. Yeah, somehow the whole world's going to implode.
I'll be here to
Something's
cover
gonna
it, though.
happen.
What's that?
So something's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, I have to tell Kimberly that maybe there was a Star Trek episode about exactly what we're talking about here. Something happens, and then something happens right after. Cause and
nerd.
effect. I don't know. Yeah.
They were on an away mission. The ship got hit.
Okay. Zach tweeted, Bob, how do we ever get to this place where Steve Bannon is running things? And you said too many Americans don't understand how government and politics works, and they're incapable of digesting the glut of information on the internet, so they're easily exploited by Steve Bannon, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, etc., who backfill the many knowledge gaps with pig. Thank you. That's the best description.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was my long way of saying shut down the internet. I say this sometimes, and I'm kind of I'm like half joking.
Right.
But on the other hand, if we really want to solve all of these problems, the only real way to do it is to shut off the internet. I think it came along way too soon in our human evolution. And it's one of those things where people see all of this information. We don't know how to digest it. We don't know how to process it. We don't know how to peg truth and fiction, fact and reality. These things are getting scrambled all the time. I mean, the guy who runs Twitter now is now engaged in this effort to deliberately scramble what's truth and what's fiction and what's real and what's not real.
Yeah.
So it's only exacerbating the problem. And as a consequence of that, we get cynical cash grabs by people like Steve Bannon and Donald Trump and all the people that circulate around them. taking advantage of people's naivete and inability to digest what they read on the internet.
That's what I said. We're not ready for AI. I can't even figure out when it's an Onion headline and when it's not. I don't know how to get pictures out of my phone.
I know. And I'm not excluding myself from all of this, too. I think at some point or another, we've all accidentally retweeted a bit of fake news or something like that, going, look at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it goes back a long ways, too. It's not just recently with social media either.
Yeah. For instance, Exhibit A, Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey endorses Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in 2024 presidential race. You just said because the anti-Democratic Party contrarian backlash when RFK Jr. doesn't come close to winning a single primary will be great for social media engagement. Some men just want to watch the world burn. Chaos is the new cocaine. That's it, right? I mean, go ahead.
I have to credit the morning show on, I believe it's the Apple TV network. Yeah. And once again, another Billy Kodrup. For some reason, like he's going to be booked on your show or next or something like that, because we've reached a nexus of Billy Kodrup. He said that on the morning show one time, and I was like, oh my God. Talk about a great way to summarize what we see every day, especially those of us who follow social media 24/7. Chaos is the new cocaine. Chaos sells. Stirring it up. I mean, we talked about, oh my God, it's the 10th anniversary of the Snowden files this week. Yeah. It was this week, 10 years ago, that Glenn Greenwald first published his first Snowden article. Yeah. And we started to become familiar with the term disruption around that time. Yeah. Where there was a deliberate effort to disrupt the status quo, to destabilize how we view politics, to destabilize institutions, and by using the internet, by exploiting the internet to turn everything over, to scramble the left-right paradigm, as Greenwald often says. And so we're seeing that getting worse and worse and worse, and accumulating more and more disciples into that mentality where it doesn't matter. There's no merit to certain things that you read on social media anymore. Yeah. The whole idea, the only merit to it is, oh, well, this will scramble the ant farm. This will shake up the ant farm.
You and I have talked about this. How many times have both of us been called far left in our whole careers? We, anti-war, anti-Iraq war, all that. Suddenly, far left now means anti-science, anti-vax, pro-Putin, anti-Ukraine, pro-chaos agent, whether it's, RFK Jr. or Tara Reid, who just defected to Russia. Whose allegations against Biden were completely debunked, but the far left still kept propping up because they were in the Bernie or die crowd or whatever it was. But you're right. What has happened? Carlos Rocky, we're in the middle of this right now with all these. There's an alternate universe where now the far left says, "Oh, vaccine didn't work," and you got duped. I'm like, what? What is happening?
Yeah. Chaos has become a brand, and RFK Jr. is playing with that a little bit. Marianne Williamson is playing with that a lot. Jill Stein, the no labels, ridiculous charlatan party.
Yes, the point of a Joe Manchin candidacy is to get Donald Trump back in. I mean, the fact that, there's still a segment of us that are gullible enough to fall for it is what's disturbing, right?
Exactly. They're riding that disruption wave that continues to surge toward the shoreline. And we saw it with Donald Trump. And I want to make a point, too, about the notion of political tourists, because we're starting to see, again, people who may be fresh to the political scene jumping on board and saying, hey, you know what, that no labels party, or hey, look at RFK Jr. Maybe I'll support that person. Yeah. But it's what we're doing is we're supporting candidates who, first of all, if they're really serious about American politics and making positive change, you start at the city council level, or you run for state legislature or something lower end and build your way toward the presidency. A jump directly from you're an author to, suddenly you're running for president. Yeah. That's a gigantic leap.
You know what? I used that term yesterday because I don't know where you end and I begin, or where I'm stealing from you, or where I'm paying homage.
Very true. Yeah.
But I speak Seska, don't I? I said political terrorists playing grab ass with democracy. Just don't get happy. What else? Trump always makes things worse for Trump. Yep. I speak Seska and Frangela.
You do.
Some people speak jive. I speak Seska.